But our focus today is squarely on the Bihar Political League or the Bihar Premier League this morning. Remember, today is a day when late in the evening you'll have the Indian Premier League finals, but the real final politically is being fought in India's third most populous state. And therefore Bihar, particularly in COVID times, becomes a critical state to see the national mood, or certainly the mood at the state level. We're going to be going seat by seat, and counting will begin exactly at 8 a.m. with the fate of 3,755 candidates across 243 seats to be revealed. The Election Commission has set up 55 counting centers across 38 districts in the state. 78 companies of the Central Armed Police Forces deployed outside counting centers to avoid any ruckus. Remember, exit polls predicting a clear victory to the Mahagathbandhan. The India Today Access My India exit poll, in fact, is predicting a potential major win for the Tejasvi Yadav-led Mahagathbandhan. So all eyes will be on that exit poll. Will we get our numbers right? And what lies ahead? Remember, this will be a state which will count slowly, and don't get carried away at times by early leads, because Bihar can upset the best of pollsters. It promises to be an exciting morning. My colleague Rahul Kanwal is with us, and he will also tell us exactly what lies ahead as we look at seat by seat, lead by lead. We are going to be joined by guests here in the studio. We have the finest team of people who've tracked Bihar over the years. Rahul Srivastav, our National Affairs Editor, is with us. Javed Ansari, Senior Journalist, is with us. Manisha Priyam, who has done a lot of research work on Bihar itself. And Rahul Verma, with the Center for Policy Research, psephologist and political analyst, with us. We'll have many more voices. But Rahul, what's more exciting? Delhi Capitals versus Mumbai Indians, or Tejasvi, who once played for the Delhi Daredevils, versus Nitish Kumar?
I'll pick cricket, never over politics. For me, it's always politics first. You know, cricket is for you, Rajdeep. I stick to the Indian Political League. And will there be a youth insurgency? You know, that's what we need to look out for. Because the Muslim Yadav vote bank of the RJD, if it becomes MYY, then is the political calculus of Bihar being rewritten by a man who was a failed cricketer, but could be captain of the Patna Chargers by the end of the day?
You know, you can say failed cricketer, but he will not only become, if he does, the youngest chief minister of a state, because Farooq was of a union territory in Puducherry, but also the first, I think, certainly the first IPL player to become a chief minister.
IPL reserve player.
Whether you call him reserve player, look, at the end, that was a period it was controversial. His father was railway minister, and the accusation was that he had been picked because, you know, he was seen to be well networked at the time. But let's be fair, you know, he did play for Delhi under-19, and I'm told he was not a bad cricketer, and I think more than that, he was enthusiastic. Those are some of the pictures of a young Tejasvi. And I think the youth factor that you spoke about is important, the MYY that is being spoken about, because Bihar has the youngest population in the country.
Can I take you through his cricket record? T20s, 4 matches played, all in Dhanbad. 4 matches, 3 runs, 0 wickets. List A matches in February 2020 in Cuttack, 2 matches, 14 runs, 1 wicket. Played 1 first-class match, Ranji. This is the Ranji Trophy Plate Division, November 2009, Jharkhand versus Vidarbha in Ranchi. First innings 1 run, second innings 19 runs. Bowled 5 overs, took no wickets, 17 runs, and no maidens.
See, you're being extremely harsh and unfair.
No, I'm not. I'm actually saying the opposite. My point is this. Imagine this young man, with his father away because he's incarcerated, is taking on the might of India's most powerful election machine, which has got an experienced Nitish Kumar, Modi and Amit Shah, and the entire might of the BJP and the RSS together. If he can still come out triumphant, that's a huge achievement, Rajdeep.
It is a huge achievement, particularly because he was written off. I think when you're written off in politics or in life and then you bounce back, it's special. But we don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We still don't know whether Tejasvi will actually do it. Very quick early comments, because we are going to go to our correspondents to find out what's happening on the ground. Let's start with you, Rahul, and we'll go across the table. We've got 3 Rahuls in our show.
Very confusing.
Very confusing, yes. And you know, there is another Rahul, of course, who's also watching the results, hopefully closely today. What's the big thing you're looking forward to today in Bihar? The one element that to you will excite you?
What happens to women vote? Because that remains the X factor. If the 5% turnout is as it was predicted.
Because we have a 59% women turnout according to the Election Commission and 54% men.
Yeah, and 2016 Tamil Nadu result basically showed that women voters, if they decide, they can overturn an election result. This is 50% of a population.
Sure, so that's that X factor that you're looking at, women voter. Manisha Priyam.
Always the youth. Remember, Bihar has had two tectonic shifts. One in the 70s, when the Chhatra Sangharsh Vahinis protested and called for Jaiprakash Narayan as the leader. This time around, it's the youth once again at the forefront. And I find that it's an uneasy coalition of the youth and a not so fancy left. Now, is it the writing of a script by the youth
Rajdeep,
and the poor?
on women
That's
vote,
what I'm looking out for.
There are seats in Bihar where the gap between the number of women voters and men voters is as high as 21.8%.
Sure.
Just imagine that. In one seat, 21.8% more women voted than men. That's phenomenal. And most of them are concentrated in North Bihar. Now, why would that be? Try and explain this to me. Why is it, especially in North Bihar, in comparison with South Bihar? In South Bihar, men voted about 11.2% more than women. In North Bihar, it's about 21.8% more on some seats.
Just two quick points. One is, I think women versus youth is a major factor. Ironically, the number of voters in the 18 to 25 group have actually declined in Bihar. And that is also because partly voter registration during COVID times has not been as effective as it's been in the past. But there are 74,000 confirmed voters on an average per constituency between 18 to 25. The women vote, I think one of the critical factors of Bihar in the last 15 years has been women empowerment. You saw it particularly in 2005 and 10, where you could see that Nitish Kumar visibly was attracting the woman vote, bicycles for young girls, 50% reservation in Panchayat. Look at the empowerment when you give 50% reservation for women in Panchayats. I think it created a tectonic shift in Bihar's politics. And that, to my mind, Rahul is right, remains the X factor.
But can there be a divergence, Rahul? You've traveled through Bihar. Let's assume the man of the family says, I'm planning to vote RJD. In how many cases would the woman of the family take a contrary position? Because typically the understanding has been that the man of the house decides, the woman or others in the house go along with that vote. But that logic seems to be changing now.
Yes, Rahul, definitely. I think in earlier elections it's been seen that in several pockets, even in Patna, we found that while there was a large section of men saying that they will vote against Nitish Kumar, the women went and voted for Nitish Kumar. I think one of the reasons why in North Bihar there has been a greater number of polling by women compared to men, I think that's the reason which was impacted a lot by floods, one. And second, a lot of migrants could not wait in Patna for the elections to happen, and they have large number had left for states like Maharashtra and others because the economic unlocking was already happening. But definitely one trend which one saw in Bihar this time is that there was a greater sense of unhappiness among women vis-a-vis Nitish Kumar. Why I say that? One, the Sharab Bandi has had a lot of negative impact, Rahul. A lot of men are in jail while that illegal liquor trade is flourishing. A lot of women said that at one time when men used to come drunk, they had the right to a kundi. Ki kundi laga liya hum andar se, usko andar nahi aane diya. But now the man is at home. He is buying 100 rupee worth liquor for 500 rupees. Their economics is collapsing and the man is at home. That has become one of the reasons why the women are unhappy. Also, a lot of remittances used to keep from outside used to keep the economy of villages working. But in Bihar this time, with the way the lockdown happened and how Nitish handled the crisis, I think the household economy really crashed. They didn't have much to do. If you see MNREG, I looked at Bihar state data, you won't believe that 13 crore job days were created, 38.5 lakh families, households. That makes it actually 34-day employment for an average household out of 180 days of lockdown. That's the 34 days only.
And Javed,
Nitish Kumar's handling of the pandemic at the end of the day would be one of the biggest factors in this election. People just thought of him as cut off, as aloof. He's an astute politician. Where do you think he got his calculation and his impulse so badly wrong?
Well, one, his style, his aloof, detached style of functioning in a crisis of a magnitude of which we've just witnessed. You expect your leaders to be engaged, to be actively. It's not enough in politics to do the right thing. You have to be seen to be doing the right thing. Nitish Kumar claims that he was sitting at home and video conferencing with district magistrates and district officials. That's not enough. Nobody knows that. He ought to have been. Look at Yogi Adityanath. God knows what he has done, how much of what he has done, but at least he's engaged. Prime Minister Modi, you know, this is not just a crisis. This is not just a crisis in Bihar, elsewhere as well. But they were out there in the public scene.
But Tejasvi says, Rajdeep, during the campaign that Nitish thak gaye. And somehow if you see the way he acted, it seems to be true that he just lost the desire to fight. He was tired.
Well, I'm not going to use the word tired. I think that would be unfair, but I think there is something in what Gavin says.
Did at any point of the campaign he come across as a winner, as a man hungry who wants to be back in power?
That's not so much of tired. You could call it the 15-year itch. Remember 2 years ago, Raman Singh, 15 years in power, lost overwhelmingly in Chhattisgarh. You had a situation, for example, with the Shivraj Singh Chauhan, with the BJP in power, 15 years in Madhya Pradesh, they lost out. 15 years is a long time in politics. The one exception have been the occasional states like Pawan Chamling, let's say in a Sikkim, or you've had Naveen Patnaik, which is an incredible
Modi
story.
himself, after 15 years, still going strong, becoming stronger with every year.
It is true.
So I'm not sure.
I still maintain, though, that managing Bihar with all its fragmentation is much more difficult than managing a Gujarat. It's a bigger challenge. I'm not sure Nitish Kumar is tired, but I think Nitish Kumar simply over the years has boxed himself in. He surrounded himself with walls, and the bureaucracy in particular. What was his strength as an effective administrator 10 years ago has today become his weakness, his over-dependence on the same Babu Shahi. And I think when the COVID pandemic hit, that's when this officious Nitish Kumar sitting in your bungalow, actually in one anemark, becomes for the average Bihari, where is my chief minister? You see, Uddhav Thackeray, for all the criticism of him, every week was doing an address to the Maharashtrian people. And I think it was important. Mr. Modi was doing it every few weeks. Nitish Kumar has only spoken on Sushant Singh Rajput. The first time Nitish Kumar gave an interview in the last 5 months after the pandemic was when he gave 4 interviews to every channel that we've taken, we've decided to go ahead with an FIR against Sushant. Surely...
What a come down this is. From a man who Manisha Prem at one time was thought of as an alternate prime minister to take on Narendra Modi, he is now literally holding on to Prime Minister Modi's coattails for survival.
Literally so. I mean, the only time when he's been able to talk of the Sushashan plank is in the Prime Minister's own rallies when the crowd was stable and not jeering at him. What was most surprising to me, and let me be very charitable to Mr. Nitish Kumar, I do remember when he won the second victory, I was around in schools in Vaishali and it was a very cold evening of January, and there was a Nitish Kumar doing a co-location. The Chief Minister's Secretariat used to move to districts, and he asked the Mukhyas that can we get firewood for these Musahar children who have come to schools for the first time. I was in the school and I was listening to the conversations between the Mukhya and the Chief Minister, and I thought this was the Chief Minister to be there. And here's a time, another time, when the poor and the vulnerable have stood out in the cold, and I have found that the Chief Minister has simply not been there.
I'll give you an example linked to that.
Not talking to the people, not talking outside this, this thing of the being boxed in by the bureaucracy.
You could go
He's not reaching out.
You could go every Monday, I think it was, for a while, and he'd have his Janta Darbar. Yeah. And it was very effective because it had just come after Lalu Raj, where there was, this sense that Lalu had brought in the so-called Jungle Raj. The Chief Minister used to actually conduct it very, very seriously.
Women would queue up in large numbers in the Janta Darbar.
So it's not so much tired, but I think the Nitish model ran out of steam. We don't know it. I mean, he could still win. So, I don't want to predict what could happen, but I think the model of governance, which he sort of had in place, maybe ran out of steam. We've got Rajat Sethi also joining us. Rajat is someone who's looked at BJP's campaigns very closely. Are you looking today at possibly the best case scenario for the NDA, given exit polls are hung assembly? Because there are a couple of exit polls that are in that 100 to 120 range, and I know that there are BJP leaders who've challenged me saying, "Jo bhi ho, hum 3 digit to aa rahe hain."
See,
100 plus to rahenge.
no, absolutely, Rajdeep. I think one thing that one needs to keep in mind is the basic fundamental arithmetic on caste equations still tilts towards the NDA. There is no doubt about it. The kind of alliances that they could stitch post Chirag Paswan moving out still carries significant amount of weight as throughout the election.
No, you're talking about the alliance with Jitan Ram Majhi and the alliance
Yes,
with Mukesh Saini. You're
that's
telling me
right.
those alliances give the BJP a wider social
A
base.
much wider social base and much more reliable social base, based on which they still at least can hope that things will turn in their favor. Because I strongly believe that any election in the past which has even given thumping majority to Nitish Kumar has always relied on the fundamental arithmetic of the caste equation. And if you look at 2010, the kind of social alliances that he had been successful in managing was the EBC alliance and the Ati Pichra.
No, but maybe this is
Mahadalit alliance.
Nitish has never won Bihar on his own. Every time he's been chief minister, it's either been riding on the shoulders of Lalu or the BJP.
Most
His party
certainly.
has never won. Last time they were not the single largest party. It's because of the generosity of RJD and Lalu Prasad Yadav
See, even
that
in
he was chief minister.
2015, if you were to look at the basic fundamental caste equation, NDA was not in the reckoning at all. So in spite of the high-octane campaign from Prime Minister Modi, the end result fell back on those fundamental caste building blocks which were just not there for the NDA. I believe in this election, one surprising X factor could be those castes which you add up, the kind of vote share that it results in. It still is far more stronger than the kind of Mahagathbandhan.
Let's get a word
scenarios.
from our reporters on the ground. Rohit Kumar Singh joins us from Tejasvi Yadav's residence. We've got Ankit Tyagi at Tejasvi's residence and Rohit at Nitish Kumar's residence. Rohit, to you first. What's happening at the residence of Nitish Kumar this morning? Very often, just given the hustle and bustle, the activity around, who believes who's winning and who believes he's losing. So what's happening on the ground, Rohit?
Well, Rahul, when you compare it with 2015, the situation is completely different, because when in 2015 we were here, there were a lot of people early in the morning who were surrounding around Nitish Kumar's residence. They were gathering here because they were anticipating a victory. But this time around, the scenes are completely different. Only media personals are here. They are only here, and no leaders are here, no supporters are here. And Nitish Kumar, what we learn is that he is also anxious to know the results. However, several NDA leaders we have been talking to, they are saying just wait and watch. Exit polls might not be completely true so they are hopeful that there could be something like a turnaround that could take place as far as the exit poll predictions are concerned. But there is more enthusiasm in the Tejasvi camp. That's the Mahagathbandhan there, because they are anticipating a huge victory, and they have also seen the exit poll of India Today, Aaj Tak, and they are saying that they are getting a complete majority there. So they are hopeful that the predictions will come true. So both sides are waiting with bated breath at this point of time and waiting for the results to come and counting to begin at 8 o'clock.
The thing, Rajdeep, about our post-poll study, earlier, it was easy to dismiss the post-poll. Okay, we'll wait till the results come. Now, when leaders see our post-poll, even if their own personal calculation is different, they say, "आप लोग बोल रहे हो तो होगा, आप क्या कर सकते हैं?" Given that kind of track record there is.
Look, I am extremely petrified of that, because you never know. In an Indian election.
Show more faith in your own poll.
I have.
That's your cop-out.
I have faith in the voter. I have no doubt that the voter has chosen wisely whatever he or she feels at that time. But I get scared because, you see, unfortunately, our viewer tends to then judge us based on the pollster and whether we get the poll right or wrong. Not on the effort done by our reporters, not by the analysis that we put together. So I think that is the worry. Obviously, if we win, I have promised that this time I will not dance, because, you see, unfortunately, last time when Kejriwal won in February, Pradeep Gupta
India
and I did
saw Rajdeep's got talent.
No, because Pradeep Gupta did a jig. And once he started dancing, it was very difficult not to join him. And I have two left feet, so I was a little reluctant. But more than that, then it gets, it goes viral and people think that we are celebrating because Kejriwal has won. I am very clear. We get the poll right, we will celebrate. But maybe the best way is a good maner laddu. superb laddus, the best that you can get in this country. If we win, I hope that you will organize Maner laddu, meaning if the pollster wins. We don't care who wins or loses. Our pollster must win.
If we get the polls,
if we get the polls right.
Yeah.
Professor Sandeep Shastri also with us, part of our special panel of experts. Dr. Shastri with Lokniti and Pro Vice Chancellor Jain University. Very quick first comments. What's the one thing you're looking forward to today? Any X factor that you see before you that could change all our calculations?
Rajdeep, the only X factor which I will closely watch is the way the youth vote goes, and will a higher women turnout make a difference. I think both these factors are extremely critical. And the third X factor I would look for is, has the third alliance in any way dented the Mahagathbandhan? These would be for me important factors in this poll. And could sway. I'm not saying that the direction of the verdict will change. It could be a plus and minus because of these factors.
So there are actually 4.5 alliances. So they're not 3 alliances. The half alliance is the BJP LJP tacit alliance, which they deny. But you ask voters in Bihar, you ask supporters of the LJP, you ask some in the JDU. They're all even now thinking, despite everything that's been said by the BJP, ki boss dal mein kuch kala hai. And that's confused voters both in the BJP and in the JDU.
That leaves us to the other X factor not mentioned so far. If you look at the Axis My India poll, we are saying about 10 to 12% is the others. We are giving others about 10 to 12%. But I saw the poll that CSDS has done, the Lokniti poll, that's giving 17 to 18%. Now that can be a huge change. Tectonic in a tough fight. If it does become a tough fight, what role the others, the spoilers, the Chirag Paswans, the Upendra Kushwas, the Pappu Yadavs, what role will they play in select constituencies? I think, Rahul, the big picture for me, why I am fascinated by this election, is this is the first election in COVID times, in a pandemic. And let's be honest, this has been 8 months like India has never seen before. Lockdown, migration, people losing jobs, incomes down. And what impact will that have, Rahul, on the politics of the country is significant, not just for Bihar, but what happens 5 months from now when 4 other major states of this country go to the polls.
I'm fascinated with this election for a completely different reason. And the reason is this. If the post-poll study done by Axis My India for India Today is correct, then the youth voter in Bihar has voted very differently from your traditional caste-based calculations. You'd imagine that if there is an upper caste candidate on an NDA ticket fighting in an assembly constituency, that upper caste across age would vote for that candidate. This poll suggests that there is a 13% gap between upper castes who voted for the NDA and those who voted for the RJD. We could be seeing, ladies and gentlemen, a youth insurgency of a sort that we saw in the Lok Sabha elections for Prime Minister Modi, where youth didn't particularly care just about their caste. They liked what candidate Modi did or what later Prime Minister Modi did. They voted for him again. If the same happens in Bihar, then it's not just a center for Modi-only phenomena. It could reflect the changing characteristic of an Indian election.
Sure, but I'm just wondering, is it just youth? If it's a major victory, as the polls predict, that would mean it's all rules of Bihar politics have transcended caste. So if let's say anything over 140, which would be a bigger win than even his father. Let's be honest, Lalu has never won a 2/3 victory in Bihar. So if you have a victory of 2/3, 150 plus, then it means all rules have broken of Bihar.
So I think the messages are in what Rahul has just pointed out, the LJP. If you look at what the LJP has done, not just that a lot of the erstwhile BJP and Sangh stalwarts are fighting on the LJP ticket, the LJP possible winners or possible strong contenders even include forward castes like the Bhumihars. So what is the churn that a supposedly Dalit leader and his son are attracting a lot of the forward castes on their tickets and strong contenders? So there is something that is issue based. The important part is to understand what is the meaning of the mandate. The meaning of the mandate.
For that we'll wait for the mandate. My worry is that I just don't want to rush, go ahead of myself. But is that, for Rahul, is that why this election is significant? That if it's a major victory for, let's say, the opposition, Does that mean that the social coalition has, in a way, completely transformed in Bihar?
No, it's the beginning of the transformation. We don't know how stable this transformation is going to be.
A post-Mandal
Right.
kind of election?
Yeah, and it will largely depend on if Tejasvi becomes the chief minister, how he governs in first 18 to 24 months, because that always sets the tone. Remember, Lalu in his first 2-3 years, Nitish Kumar in his first 2-3 years started a very different model of governance. So we have to see what path Tejasvi follow if he becomes the chief minister.
And just to give a quick parallel, Rahul, if you remember, and our other friend Rahul from his and Javed, their home state of Uttar Pradesh, when Akhilesh won in 2012, he was also in his 30s. And you know, again a huge mandate. But halfway through the mandate, it was clear that he was struggling to hold it together. And I think the challenge, if Tejasvi wins, is not just winning an election, it's holding this coalition together. It's not going to be easy. Because, you know, if you want a tectonic change in politics of a state like Bihar, which has been used to mandal politics for the last 15, 20 years, and you're talking of Rozgar, you're talking of Sichai, Padhai, not easy to actually
No,
implement.
but the
on
reason
ground.
Akhilesh failed was because he had 4.5 chief ministers. You know, from bureaucrats to people in the family, to his father, to his uncle, everyone wanting to play chief minister.
Good point, because you're not. We've had 20 minutes of a chat on Bihar without talking of the one person who has dominated Bihar politics for the last 30 years. Lalu
He'll
Prasad
be out
is
of
watching. He's watching very carefully, and be very clear. If you think that Lalu has no role to have played in this election, whether it's even with seats, he has had a role. Tejasvi kept Lalu's image out of the campaign, but Lalu's shadow remains somewhere out, and that will be the challenge.
Look, all the seat allocations, the seat negotiation with allies, all the seats were finally cleared by Lalu before it was allotted to the allies.
So what happens? You know Lalu well,
yeah.
Javed.
Okay,
Let's assume in about 15-20 days Lalu comes out of jail. Tejasvi, if the polls are correct, is chief minister. By then, will Lalu let his son do his job? He says, "Bachcha, isko kya aata? I'll run the government shadow."
Look, so that's the big challenge for Lalu and for Tejasvi. If Lalu starts interfering,
he will. You know Lalu.
Okay, so if Lalu starts interfering, this mandate they will fritter away, and all this change and this big message that we are reading into this will bite the dust. Tejasvi's tougher task begins once he's sworn in as chief minister. If he can run his show well, he's giving all the right indications. He's asked all the RJD eager beavers to rein it in, to behave themselves and not to go over the top, no bursting crackers, no making fun of Nitish and his people. But it has to go beyond that. His father has to be kept in check, and this, this
you want
bullish,
to keep Lalu in check?
and these
जब
bullish,
तक समोसे में आलू है, तब तक बिहार में लालू है. If Lalu is out, to keep Lalu in check, much like to keep a Mulayam or a Shivpal in check, is not easy. These are the
No,
traditional.
he calls up. I've seen him call up SPs and DMs directly
See, not
when
only
Nitish was
Rajiv,
chief minister.
Yes.
Sorry. Not only the people. I think when Lalu came to power in 1990, and I was there was a slogan in Bihar. It said, "Ki Rome Pope ka, Bihar Gop ka." Now that element, that base of Lalu Prasad Yadav, the Yadav vote bank, same as in UP, has been a very aggressive, muscular vote bank. How that gets reined in, I think that will decide a lot of elements for Tejasvi in future. Okay. Because I think Rahul's program yesterday had this term which was, I think I love the term, that youth insurgency. I think they may change the structure of Bihar, building blocks of politics this time around, if you watch, if it really happens.
Okay,
Tejasvi can deliver. If he doesn't, if he fritters away this mandate, this will turn back.
And if the postponed study is wrong,
if it's wrong,
then all these political pundits will be doing verbal gymnastics and explaining the opposite mandate.
Because you see, one of the other factors as we went into the polls that we thought was significant, or I thought was significant, that this is going to be the first election where the BJP is going to emerge possibly as the single largest party in Bihar, something that they have never achieved. It's the one North Indian state where the BJP has never been the single largest party in an assembly election.
But the post polls don't show that.
No, the post polls, before the election started, you see, let's be very clear. The BJP has played a Shatranj election. Even the Chirag Paswan, the manner in which he's been used, according to some, was all part of a larger game to ensure that the BJP is the dominant power. So if our polls are wrong, then I think that could well happen, that the BJP emerges as single Rajan. If they are right, then it means that you're back to a new form of social coalition with a strong element of economic of economic justice
And
that perhaps
The
Tejaswi
way
brings.
Congress deployed two of its leaders to go to Bihar and see MLAs are not being pushed, meaning there is some sort of like doubt that, you know, it could be very close to the
Okay,
victory.
so we need to take a
In
break.
fact, yeah, I'll just add to that. An RJD leader rang me up soon after our polls. Are you sure about the numbers? Which means even they themselves are a bit stunned by when we gave
No,
150
so
plus.
I'll tell you,
So
Lalu
let's be
Yadav
very
was
clear.
watching the polls. He spoke to somebody who's in our team, and he said, "Ye access wala bol raha hai, to theek hi bol raha tha." They weren't also expecting such a big mandate. So it's a surprise to him sitting where he is if the mandate is what it is, and if it's not.
How is Lalu communicating with the world in the hospital?
Don't
in
ask
jail,
all of
right?
this. Don't ask all of
Mobile
this.
phone,
Okay.
everything
So
available.
we're going to take a very quick break right now. When we come back, we'll also look at what's happening on the ground at the counting centers, 55 counting centers set up across the state of Bihar. This is our last break. Then all the way through, the Indian political league will start. This is T20 style. The results will come thick and fast. The trends will flow. The election intelligence dashboard is revved up and ready to go. Our coverage continues on the other side of a quick break. Stay with us.